Hey y'all. How you doing? Thanks so much for joining us for Off Script, our video podcast. I'm Amy Wegman and Shari's off today. She's on vacation, so I have the
You're stuck with me.
amazing Alex Orenchuk. Orenchuk, okay? Sounds like it's easy to spell. Spell your last name for me.
ORENCZUK.
Yeah, I never get that right.
CZ in Canada.
CZ, yes, he's Canadian. That's why I was teasing the other day when I was talking with you guys about how, like, sometimes when I hear you doing your reports and you say out or about, you say about.
I'm going to refrain from saying any of that throughout this.
Yes.
It'll come up, though, I'm sure.
We should do like coffee shots every time Alex says out or about. But the most important part is Alex is our community correspondent for Charlotte County. So you not only work in Charlotte County every single day, you live in Charlotte County.
I live in Charlotte County. I live in Punta Gorda.
Yeah?
It's my spot.
You're in it.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
We love it there. We're going to talk about some Punta Gorda, Charlotte County stuff in just a minute. But first, there's this summer trend that we want to talk about, and it involves lying. But I guess for a good reason, if there ever is a good reason. I don't have a social life, but Alex is young, so he probably does. So do you ever lie to your friends about reservation times?
I think my group is pretty good at dinner reservations and things like that.
Yeah.
I was saying I lie about golf times because when you book a tee time, it's always like 9:27, 9:28, and I'm like, okay, 9:20, 9:15.
Yeah.
Get there a little early, make sure no one's late, because the starters at these courses can be kind of rough if you show up late.
So that's a weird thing, like starting at 9:28, and I'm guessing you have to like get the golf clubs out, go do this. And what do they do if you're late? Is it like a reservation at a restaurant? 15 minutes late, they give you the boot?
No, usually. Well, if you show up that late, then maybe. Usually they're just kind of like they'll say some smart remark to you about it, but
yeah,
it's usually okay.
You a big golfer?
I'm getting into it. I'm trying to live the.
So basically,
lifestyle.
You suck.
Yeah. I am not good. By any means. Yeah, but I've been trying to get into it. I'm sure there's a reason they booked them for the weird times.
Yeah.
And I don't know the lore behind that, so.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'll have to. We could totally go golfing because I'm not good either. I've taken a couple lessons with my son. He's much better than me. Anyway, I guess a lot of young kids, half of U.S. diners give their friends fake reservation time so they show up on time. This keeps them, there when they're supposed to be. 40% of people have a chronically late friend. I don't ever want to be that friend. I'm German. Like, punctuality is big. I will say, once I had kids, though, not when I had one kid, once I got up to 3 kids, I have to, aim to get out the door 20 minutes earlier because then I actually get out the door on time.
I like that. I'm an early guy. Late. What is it? On time is late.
On time is late.
Early's on time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my motto.
That's my man. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to go because Alex, obviously, like I said, works in Charlotte County. We had some heavy news out of Charlotte County recently, and because this was in the news in 2019. So this guy, Ryan Cole, was convicted of killing a 15-year-old, Kyler Edmond, basically when he broke into the family home, right?
Breaking into the family home. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
And he was protecting his little sister, police said, when he got stabbed, which just is horrific when you think about it. So Ryan Cole was found guilty. This is him. And he was supposed to be sentenced today. So in Florida, the jury recommended death, right? But the law in Florida says if the jury recommends death, and they have to have a certain threshold, right? I think it's 8 out of 12. The judge ultimately makes the decision, though. They decide, okay, yes, I am going to go with the death penalty, or we're going to end up going with life in prison. So you were supposed to go into the courthouse today to see the sentencing.
Yeah, so we were supposed to find out if he was going to be, life in prison or sentenced to death today. That was supposed to be at 12:30 today in Charlotte County. That got postponed until Monday. So I know we'd been talking about that a little bit this morning.
Yeah.
In the morning shows. Yeah, not happening today, moving to Monday at 12:30 again in Charlotte County. So and we'll find out if he's on death row or in prison for the rest of his life.
You're going to go to the courthouse on Monday?
I will be there. I will be there. Yep.
That's the cool thing about our setup here at Fox 4. You have an area that you cover, right? It kind of goes back to old school when you think of newspaper beats, but you cover Charlotte County all the time. So you've gotten to know these people and know these stories. And so you can like just call people and use your connections when you need to.
It's great, and I love it. And like I said, I wouldn't want to be, no offense to any of the other counties,
Yeah.
but I've really grown to love my area. So yeah, it's been good.
That's home for him.
Yeah.
You know what's not happening in his area? Alligator Alcatraz. So this is in Collier County, but I feel like we were definitely Southwest Florida on the national like news all day, all week, really, because of Alligator Alcatraz. So President Trump came, he visited Alligator Alcatraz yesterday. It's going to hold 3,000 migrants as they are processed legally there at this location, and it's got a lot of controversy surrounding it, right? So there's everyone that's for it. This is like, you know what? This is temporary. It was already developed as a landing strip, if you will, for like an airport. Back in the day, it was going to be one of the largest airports in the country,
Right.
but that didn't happen because there were environmental concerns. This is on tribal land. The Miccosukee and Seminole tribes have land there. And then, you know, the protesters are like, wait a second, we're in the middle of, you know, delicate ecosystems. There's animals and now there's trucks coming in and out. Sure, they're not constructing like a building, if you will, but porta potties have to be emptied. Like they're going to take the waste in and out. Food and water have to be brought in. They're going to need staff and security. So, you know, there are issues and arguments, if you will, on both sides. This thing was constructed in 8 days.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's interesting about the protesters going both from environmental to just the immigration issue, people protesting that. So it's kind of going on both fronts. And then obviously you have the people who are for the, you know, the Alligator Alcatraz and wanting to deal with the immigration issue that way. So
yeah,
it's been interesting to hear about, and weird that it's in our backyard, kind of.
It's kind of weird it's in our backyard. And at first the name, I was like, what? But so we were talking with one of our senior reporters, Ryan Kruger, because he was there yesterday. We had several crews down there because obviously when the president and the governor are coming to visit something and it's in your backyard, you go. They saw several alligators while they were down there because if you've never been to that area, it is literally covered, like the road, you have the road, but it is dense, like brush and trees and whatnot. And so one alligator was alive, but then they said they saw a dead one, right? Like a gigantic alligator.
Giant one on the side of the road. Yeah, that's no fun. I actually went python hunting in Big Cypress last summer.
So is it as grueling as they kind of make it out to be?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, and it's not. But it's also the other hand. You look at it both ways. It's the beautiful Florida Everglades, so you know you can take it that way too. So you know, either way you want to look at it.
I want to go python hunting.
Yeah, it was fun.
That sounds fun. Yeah, I mean, also kind of scary if you think about it that way. But anyway, so the detainees, the headline today for Alligator Alcatraz was Trump was there yesterday. Today, detainees are supposed to start arriving. So 500, I think, is what they're doing at this point, but they can get up to 3,000. So we're going to follow that closely. Right. I want to talk about another story that Alex covered because this story just melted my heart. This little girl is the sweetest. There was this 9-year-old little girl, Leah, who, if you remember, she was swimming with her family. Was it Boca?
Yep, in Boca Grande.
And she was bitten by a shark?
She was bitten by a shark. The shark almost, you know, from what the family has said, almost took her hand off. So It was almost completely severed. And we saw an X-ray actually from the hospital after she got there. But this was a really crazy story. I was actually in Inglewood at the time. It was June 11th, excuse me.
Yeah.
So I just shot over there to Boca and, you know, started gathering what I could about the information. And you know, the fire department who showed up, the Boca Fire Department, wouldn't tell us exactly kind of what happened. And then we ended up finding this guy.
Right. So these are the guys that jumped in the water.
Right. So this whole construction crew. So Boca is still very severely damaged from the hurricanes.
Okay.
So there's tons of rebuilding going on. So these construction guys were taking their lunch break and heard screaming and jumped right into action to help pull this family. There's 7 members of this family that were in the water. And so obviously if you're a mom, if you're a parent and seeing what's going on with a shark attack, you know, you're not in the best position to
you're frantic,
respond to that. Yeah. So these guys jumped in and helped save her, got Leah, got a towel on her hand, wrapped it up, got her to EMS, waited for, you know, first responders to get there and take care of it. And thankfully, Leah is doing fine, and she got her hand repaired, and the surgeons were able to fix it. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, you know, post-surgery recovery.
Of course.
With this, but
and like post-traumatic stress because I don't know if I'd ever want to go into the water after that again. This poor little girl. I'm just so happy. The way he described it when you interviewed them initially was that, I mean, I'm not trying to be graphic, but like her hand was literally hanging.
Yeah, they said it was like one piece of flesh kind of keeping it on there. So thankfully, medical miracle here.
Yeah.
So putting that thing back on, it's awesome. I'm happy for her and her family.
I am too. And that's one of the benefits of our neighborhood news setup because, like you said, you were there. You're like, hey, that's right down the street, so you can respond to things pretty quickly. If you're watching us on Facebook, again, this is Alex Orenchuk. He's with me today because Shari is off living her best life. She's on vacay. I see some of you commenting and saying hi. Miyoshi Price wants to go python hunting. She wants to see me go python hunting. Yeah. I could totally do that.
I'd do a Fox 4 trip out to Big Cypress and do one. I know the crew out there.
I mean, that would be like one of those, what do you call it, like team building? That would be quite the team building exercise. I'm not sure like risk management for our parent company would like that.
I mean, they sent me, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
Christopher Nabua, I hope I said that right. Thank you so much, Fox, for Sir Alex for sharing. He's in the Philippines.
Oh
my gosh, so cool. Watching us from the Philippines.
Got a global audience here.
Yes, absolutely. And like Fox 4 just commented, those are our friends in the newsroom, separate room from us. They're saying, make sure to share this because this is a podcast, right? So we call it off script because we go literally, when we do the news from whether it's the field or the studio, we script that ahead of times, right? We are journalists, we research, we put our work into it, and then we write it out. But this is truly off script, where we're just chatting. We can talk about the news of the day. We can focus in on certain neighborhoods across Southwest Florida, but we can also, I don't know if you have a burning question for Alex.
Yeah, let me know. Drop it in the comments.
Yeah,
I'll answer it. I'll get to the bottom of it for you.
If someone has never been to Canada and they were going to go there, what is the number one place they should visit first?
Banff, Alberta.
Banff? Like go skiing?
No, you don't have to go skiing.
Okay.
Just go to town, go see sightseeing the mountains.
Okay.
It's probably the prettiest place I've ever been to,
In the world?
Yeah.
Really?
But I don't, I didn't grow up near there.
Yeah.
But that would be my number one pick, or somewhere in BC,
I've been to Victoria, British Columbia.
Yeah. BC
so
is beautiful as well. I don't know. I grew up kind of near Toronto, so it's like, it's not that special.
Well, to you, it's like anything. When you're from somewhere, it's like your norm,
Right,
so.
exactly. No, it's nice. It's nice, but yeah.
Do you have a spot?
Country.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but like think about this if you don't have an answer right away. If someone doesn't often go to Charlotte County, is there a spot that you love to go, whether it's a restaurant or a place or a sightseeing place that you can, if you want to stew on that for a minute, you can.
Okay. Let me stew.
Stew.
Yeah.
Stew a little bit. We like
Come
stewing.
back to me. Yeah.
We will. So do you have 4th of July plans?
I did, but the weather, it's not looking great. So I was going to go to the beach. Yeah.
I mean, so if you haven't been paying attention to the weather, we have this front, if you will, and it's kind of just going to be sitting over Florida. And in a nutshell, we're going to be dealing with a lot of weather, not only on 4th of July, but through the weekend, right? July, it's summer in Florida. We typically are dealing with rain on 4th of July. Usually the fireworks happen, though, like even if it's a little bit later and they have to get delayed 9:30. But Bella Line, she's our Cape Coral community correspondent. So like Alex works in Charlotte County. She covers Cape Coral all the time. So she was doing the story with one of the local vet hospitals. And this is actually really cool because do you have a dog?
No.
I don't either. I have a cat. My cat's on Prozac. Apparently it's a thing. They're stressed out, but dogs in particular get really stressed out during thunderstorms and when there's fireworks. I mean, some people do too, some of our veterans, because it's loud and it's kind of jarring. So there is this new medication that's being tested out, and this hospital in Cape Coral is kind of testing it out on patients. When I say patients, I mean dogs, obviously, after Xanax and Thunder shirts failed to work for them during these stressful periods. So whether it's like fireworks or thunderstorms. So the FDA is going to be looking at the results that come from this Cape Coral Vet Hospital, and they're still looking for pets to be enrolled so that they can test it out on them. So if you have a little 4-legged friend that you're like, oh my gosh, I've tried everything. This poor thing is just panicked and shaking. You might want to reach out to Bella or reach out to the Cape Coral Vet Clinic because, again, they're testing this new medication for anxiety.
Right. And I know you're not going to know throughout the study if you're going to get the actual drug or the placebo, but
Right.
I mean, it's worth a shot. I know tons of dogs who, hate all these loud noises. I know growing up I had dogs and they'd always go run to the basement. I know we don't have basements here.
Yeah, where are they going to run?
Exactly.
Under a couch or?
Exactly. So I don't know what they're doing. They're just being scared at home during the thunderstorms or fireworks. So if you have a dog like that, get enrolled.
Sign up.
Yeah.
This is a little awkward, but Shari Armstrong is watching right now.
Lovely.
Yeah. She sees you filling in for her. We love you so much, Shari.
Hi,
I'm glad.
Shari.
Why are you watching? Go take some time
you should
off.
be having fun, not watching this.
Oh, she said, "Oh my gosh, I just opened Facebook and saw these two wonderful faces." Like we
miss
said,
you.
we miss you,
Yeah.
but go do something relaxing and stop tapping into work. I don't know what I'm going to do for 4th of July yet. I am off for the first time like ever.
Me too.
I usually work on 4th of July. So that's a fun thing in the news industry. I'm not saying we're the same as doctors and first responders, but our schedules are very similar.
Not exactly.
No, not even close, right? They are heroes. We, however, work very similar schedules because we never 365. We're on. We're here for you.
News doesn't stop.
News does not stop. So one of us will be working 4th of July. I think Ryan Kruger's filling in for me. So thank you, Ryan.
So what are your plans?
I don't know. I wanted to take the kids to go see fireworks, but then when I see the weather on top of thinking of the crowds, I'm like, ugh,
The
that
crowds,
sounds.
the parking, everything else.
Right?
I might swing by Lashley Park. I know they're having a big event there.
Fisherman's
Friday.
Villages too.
Fisherman's Village is always up to something. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
there's fireworks in downtown Fort Myers. Fort Myers Beach has the fireworks. Marco Island has the fireworks. Cape Coral has Red, White, and Boom. I know this because I was looking for stuff for you guys to do over the weekend. There's nothing going on this weekend. Everything's focused on 4th of July right now. So I know all about the fireworks shows. I don't know if you know this about me, Alex, or my friends there at on Facebook who are streaming or YouTube. Shari's still writing. Now she's changed from her work page. Oh, no, she's still on her personal page. I cannot help but watch two of my favorites. I'm going to get an I Love Alex O tattoo on my ankle.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Love
Make
you,
sure,
Shari.
yeah, just go with the O because you probably won't spell his last name correctly, right?
Exactly. I'll spell check it for you before you get it.
Spell check.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm a space nerd.
Okay.
One of my favorite vacations I've ever taken in my life was I surprised my husband for his birthday years ago, and we went to this observatory in Arizona.
Mhm.
No light pollution at the top of like a mountain essentially, and we got to look at the stars and the planets and like it was I can't even describe it because like the pictures are amazing, but when you are there in person, like you feel like you can touch the stars. The light pollution, there's none. I don't know, it just reminds you like we're so little.
I love that.
So anything that was like stressing me out, it was just reminded me. I'm like, why am I stressing about
just
a
a little
nugget?
Yeah,
of
organism
sand.
floating through the sky.
Exactly. So anyway,
Yeah.
I say that because I'm a space nerd, and Netflix is adding NASA Plus to its live stream. Isn't that cool?
I love this idea.
Are
And
you a space nerd?
I'm a big space nerd, but like in a less scientific way. Like I'm a big alien guy.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
You think there are aliens?
Oh, for sure.
right? We
Oh,
can't
for
be
sure.
the only living beings.
I've been to Roswell,
You
New
have?
Mexico. Yeah, that was really fun to learn about all the alien stuff that had happened there. So that was really cool. But I love this idea of adding the NASA to Netflix. That way you can watch the rocket launches. That's something I've always wanted to do to get over to the other side of the state to
Same.
watch a rocket launch.
Yeah.
Allegedly, you can see them from Punta Gorda.
I've seen one from. I mean, it's tiny, right? Like
Yeah.
you see the little thing on the perfect setup, right? If the sky and the light and everything works together. I've seen it from my house in Fort Myers. But yeah, you're going to be able to watch spacewalks, rocket launches, and then NASA Plus, they'll still have it on their website. So if you want to watch it. Do you know, I basically grew up in Florida. I moved to Cape Coral when I was 10. I've never
Seen one?
seen a rocket launch
Really?
in person.
I've heard from
The
people
heck?
who have and say it's like a life-changing experience.
I have heard the same thing.
Yeah.
And I had to work, they did like the last, if you will, launch. But then we've had more. I have to go see that
Yeah,
with my own two eyes.
for
My
sure.
dad was a
Whether
pilot.
it's a SpaceX or NASA, whatever
Yeah.
it is. I want to see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right? Love it. One other thing that Alex, when he's not covering things in Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte and Charlotte County, he is always checking out what's going on with the Panthers. I was never like a diehard hockey person, right? Okay, I'm just going to admit it. But then Fox 4 became the official broadcast partner of the Florida Panthers. So we got to go over to the East Coast and hang out with the team, who, by the way, just won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Big deal. That's what they're drinking
2 times.
out of it.
Back to
back.
back.
Yeah, right? Like, we might go for a three-peat.
Yeah.
But anyway, we watched a game, and it is so electric and so fun, and I'm a hockey fan now.
It's insane to watch it in person, and I think a lot of people are like you, where maybe you didn't grow up watching it, or you had no connection to it, and then you see it in person, and it's like mind blowing. Yeah, it's super fun to watch in person, especially. What an experience covering the Panthers this year! It was their repeat year, so they won last year, and then they won again this year.
Yeah.
So wow, it was just an amazing experience being there throughout the year, watching them kind of put the pieces together.
Yeah.
And sign some big names, and then make this second run for the Stanley Cup, and they won. So
then we just had the news this morning, too, that not only are they Stanley Cup winners back to back, but they also were able to kind of keep those key players on the team through, 2030, I think they signed.
Yes.
So does that mean, because, like I said, I'm a hockey fan now, but it doesn't mean I know anything about hockey. Does that mean we could go for a three-peat?
I think we're going for a three-peat. That's what they're trying to do. They've retained their core group of all-stars and, superstar players. They just re-signed Sam Bennett, who was the postseason MVP for them.
Okay.
To an eight-year contract. Aaron Ekblad, a big defenseman.
Nice.
Yeah, a huge part of the team as well. They re-signed him on 8 years, and then Brad Marchand, who they signed in March. And this whole story with Brad Marchand is crazy because everybody hated him when he played for Boston because the way that he plays is so.
What is he, rough or something?
He's rough.
Okay.
He's chirpy. He likes to get in people's face.
Yeah.
He's.
Fighting's part of hockey.
Right. And then but you hate playing against him, and then he comes to the Panthers in March and immediately becomes a fan favorite.
Really?
Completely flips the script on everybody, and not only is he playing unbelievable as an older guy in the league, but he's had all these off-ice moments, whether it was eating the Dairy Queen in the locker room or whatever, especially after they won and all this the partying that they've been doing. He's been a big star online. So they re-signed him for 6 years. So
cool.
He's another big piece of that. So.
Man, they go for long contracts, 8 years, 6 years.
Yeah, and a lot of money too. So so it's going to be exciting to watch this year again. A three-peat is it's possible. It's definitely something that's possible for the Panthers. I know it's obviously tough. It's one of the most tough trophies to win.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Sports.
Hockey's not an easy sport. I have some close friends, their kids play hockey, and I'm always amazed by what these people do because not only you have to be an amazing ice skater, an athlete, and really in shape, but it's so fast paced.
Yeah, very fast.
Do you play hockey?
I played hockey when I was very young growing up in Canada. Then I was you know what? This cold isn't for me.
And here you are in Florida.
Exactly. Well, then I started playing baseball.
Okay.
I'll do a summer sport.
Yeah.
And then now I'm in Florida. So no, I'm not a big cold guy.
I feel that. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But if anyone's going to follow what happens next with the Panthers, it's going to be this guy. So if you're on the East Coast and you ever want to check out a game when they're in season, it's Amerant Bank Arena. And then you can actually watch them practice at the Iceplex, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
we were there hanging out with the team. They've got a restaurant upstairs where you can go. That whole area is walkable where their practice facility is. They have all this merchandise. Christopher, I want to thank Christopher. Do we know Christopher's last name?
Shout out to Christopher for sharing the stream. Thanks, Christopher.
Okay, he shared the stream, so thank you. I can't multitask, it's not that easy. So Christopher, thanks. We appreciate you sharing it because we're just trying to let people know that we're doing this podcast because it's something new and a little different format.
It's fun.
FOMO. Okay, you know what FOMO is?
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. I have FOMO sometimes because I'm a busy working mom and then I have my friends who have way more energy than me and they're like, oh, we're doing X. And I'm like, I literally can't do it, especially because we get up at an ungodly hour. But there's a new thing called FOPO. Have you heard of FOPO?
I've never heard of FOPO.
Do we have a video for this, Allie? We do. We have a video. Allie's our producer. She's hanging out in here with us. So FOPO is the fear of people's opinions. And as I get older, I have less FOPO. But when I was in my 20s and 30s, I had a lot of FOPO.
I've got some FOPO. I think, it does kind of diminish as you solidify your self-worth, I think, a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and as you get older,
think.
you realize, It doesn't matter. You just have to be you. You have to be authentic, right? I am who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, practicing mindfulness, now that like this is a thing that people are talking about, fear of people's opinions, practicing mindfulness can help you overcome your FOPO and live authentically. I'm just going to say easier said than done, because sometimes like, do guys do this too, where you like go out, let's say you go out with your friends, you go out to dinner.
Okay.
And then you're laying down later that night to go to bed, and or even like a month later, you think of stuff that you said or ways you answered questions. You're like, I should have answered that differently.
Yeah.
You do that too?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a little better.
Ruminate on things, laying in bed at night, thinking about every single bad thing that I've ever done.
But the reality is everyone's just trying to do their level best, right? Exactly. And if we can just like give grace to each other and be nice, the world would be a better place.
Yes, I agree.
Right?
Good mantra.
Good mantra.
Keep the positivity going.
Fox 4 is a really nice place to be. I love my work family. I don't know about you guys. I don't know where you work. Christopher, I mean, I know where Shari works. And I know where Miyoshi works. We have LC. They can't even like leave us alone while we do a podcast, exactly. But we are like a family here. It's nice. We sometimes get a little too comfortable with each other, right?
A little bit,
but it's okay.
Occasionally.
We love it.
Occasionally.
We spend more time together than we do with most of our actual family members. So anyway, if you have FOPO, take a deep breath. Don't stress out. Just remember, we're a little rock spinning in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, exactly. We'll go back to our space story.
We're going back to the aliens. That's full circle. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you were able to join me.
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll get another guest spot.
Yes.
In the near future here.
Favorite place. Thank you, Allie, for reminding us. You have a favorite spot?
So Ponce de Leon Park.
Okay.
I fish there a lot. That's in Punta Gorda. That's a favorite among many to watch the sunset, but I fish there a lot.
Okay.
Favorite restaurants? Can I go there?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Of course. This is a podcast.
Unwind in Punta Gorda is my favorite.
What kind of food is it?
It's like tapas. It's like small
plate. I love tapas.
Yeah, really good food.
Okay.
The Wine's at House is really good. Italia's really good. River City Grill's really. You can't really go wrong.
Okay.
With all these, locally owned businesses, locally owned restaurants.
Yeah.
There's really no. There's nowhere that I'd say stay away from really.
Yeah.
In Punta Gorda, it's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. If you've never been, if you've never like, hey, honey, instead of driving to Naples or instead of driving to downtown Fort Myers, drive to Punta Gorda and go have dinner on the river, go check out the sunset. It really is beautiful.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Special place.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, Alex Oranchuk, my guest today.
Thank
for
you for having me.
Yes. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we stream on Facebook and YouTube. You can find us at fox4now.com, 10 o'clock. Those 3 days of the week. And if you ever have a story going on in your neighborhood, doesn't matter where you live, we have a community correspondent that covers that neighborhood.
We've got you covered.
We've got you covered. So just let us know, and they will get to know you, and they'll get to know, your issues, because your community is their community is your community. So that's how we're doing things around here. Thanks for joining us today. For the next half hour, we're going to have local news for you, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye.